Some days after the events with the tower, as calm begins to return to the city, your alarm is going off. I guess I'll get my full review another time, potentially, here, if this is gonna lead right into more plot stuff, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't quite yet. The future of Lumiose City. You head down to the lobby on the first floor. I mean, I should probably still do that right now. If, let's say I don't get any time to stream this game again before the DLC comes out. I still want to be at a point where, you know, I can, potentially hop right into the DLC, maybe. I don't know, now that I've beaten the game. So I may as well get through whatever stuff is here, and then, you know, maybe my full review will come after I do all the main post-game stuff. Yeah, I see the investigate. I'm just finishing my sentences before I pick it up and see what's going on there. And, what was I about to say? Just that I guess I do all the main game, post-game kind of stuff, and then, get my full review. And the DLC's coming out so soon after the main game anyway. Maybe I'll just talk about the whole thing in general after the DLC is out. Considering these things are releasing, like, back-to-back, may as well consider them one experience. But I guess a really, really short version right now would be, yeah, what the heck with that plot? That was not alluded to at all there. There's so many unanswered questions and so many things that seem like they were being built up that just weren't what happened. So much of the story were completely unrelated subplots about other characters that were each like their own little bits of unhinged lunacy that, you know, I did find entertaining at times, because, like, it was self-aware unhinged lunacy, as I've described it before, so I did find the story entertaining at times. But every time I hopped onto this game, I was like, okay, what the hell are we doing today? What's going on? I have no idea. Because, you know, it wasn't exactly a coherent start-to-finish story, saga, whatever the heck. It was just kind of a semi-random series of events that kind of coalesced to that. The gameplay, I enjoyed it being something different. I enjoyed the very fast-paced nature of it. It felt like the early Pokemon anime. It felt like the Pokemon anime as I know it in general. I guess I never really watched anything past, like, Gen 5, and even the Gen 5 stuff I watched was very limited. I watched the Pokemon anime up until Gen 4, but if that's what counts as early, where it's, like, completely different, you know, little mini-adventures along the way, then yeah, I guess it did kind of feel like that, except much more insane. But yeah, the gameplay I appreciated being something different at least, and being fast-paced to engage me. But like, if I really wanted to play a real-time action game, I would just play something like Xenoblade Chronicles that has like actual more depth behind it. Like, you could argue that this is maybe a little bit more depth than Pokemon has seen in a while. But if I want to play a real-time action game where, you know, I have so many different possible moves, so many different possible combination moves in the same of some games there, different weapons to be using, all sorts of different, like, higher skill ceiling mechanics like chain attacks or overdrive or anything like that to really sink my teeth into, I just play something like Xenoblade Chronicles. Like, it really feels like you get a general sense for how this game works, and, you know, you've hit the skill ceiling, is what it kind of feels like. Eventually do some higher level techniques, like do a buff like Swords Dance, and then start laying down the hurt. A big attack is coming, recall your Pokemon, you know. A little bit more engagement, it's something a bit different. But there are games in this genre that have done this a whole lot better. And with the style of this game, with both, you know, the general gameplay, and also just the clunkiness of, like, the weird kind of movement and platforming around and all sorts of stuff there, this felt like it could have been, like, a late-era Wii game, is what it felt like it could have been, what it would have belonged on. Not a, you know, present-day game. And especially when you compare it to things like the graphics as well, with the flat buildings and boring world. Then you boot up something like Metroid Prime 4 Switch 2, and, you know, that game has really taken my breath away with some of the areas, and it's like, holy crap, this is absolutely gorgeous. Then you see the freaking everything looking the same in this game, and it's not super great there. Or when they announced that this game was going to take place entirely within Lumiose City, I was worried that the entire thing was going to feel really samey if they didn't, like, distribute it into, like, different districts. Like, this is the super foresty third of the city, this is a super watery third of the city, and then this is the kind of standard third of the city. Just so that it felt like there was different biomes and different things there. I was kind of hoping they would at least do something like that. They didn't. Literally everywhere in the city felt the same. And even though it is split up into, like, I guess the 5 areas and stuff, if you asked me what area was what, I couldn't tell you. They all look and feel exactly the same. The world is so freaking boring, man. Like, So so there was some parts that I liked about this game, but definitely not worth the $100 cost of entry, and still very, very lacking in polish with them pumping out these games like crazy as soon as they can. It is still absolutely quantity over quality when it comes to modern Pokemon games. Like, that has definitely not changed here. And unfortunately, they'll take like one step in like, a different or better direction that, other equivalent series might have done like, a decade and a half ago. And they'll get so much praise for it. Like, wow, it's something so different. Like, that's amazing. Good on them for doing this, when it's still so far behind what a lot of modern companies will be doing in terms of like their quality of, both gameplay, graphics, optimization, all sorts of stuff here. Like, this game came out around the same time as Ghost of Yote, so I was playing a lot of Ghost of Yote at the same time with this game, going back and forth. That was very much whiplash in terms of quality. Like, even just ignoring the fact that, of course, the ones on the PS5 and is of course going to look a whole lot different. But even just in terms of like gameplay refinement and just how smooth things like movement feel and how much depth there is, or if we are just going to talk graphics-wise on the same system, compare it to this right here. Again, I only have one stream in Metroid Prime 4 Beyond so far, so I can't speak enough to it yet. And so far it's my least favorite of the Metroid Prime games. I was kind of hoping this game would be better. I'm honestly not super impressed with this game so far, but I hope that changes as it goes on. But even just in terms of like the world and stuff, on gameplay and all the friggin' stuff, the amount of time that they take to optimize and make these things, this game still is an embarrassment, I'm gonna be honest. Pokeball containing a Lucario on the table. Do you want to take it with you? No. I don't know. Where the frick is the Lucario from? It gives you a gift Lucario for beating the game? Something? There's a letter from AZ near the Pokeball. To Floridance. I'll leave you my Lucario as a symbol of my gratitude and respect. AZ had a Lucario? This Lucario was given to me by a certain trainer who hoped it might keep me safe. If you should ever meet her, I guess I'll meet her on Wednesday, please tell her that I kept it with me until the end. I might not be streaming on Wednesday. I typically go to Taekwondo those days. I'll stream at some point. I must tell you that I have found you to be a Pokemon trainer of the highest caliber. In all my 3,000 years wandering this world, never did I imagine I might encounter a human who would achieve Mega Evolution with Zygarde. I find so many memories flit through my mind now, here at the end of things. I remember my mother giving me my Floette, grasping her rare black flower. I remember the flames of war taking everything from me. I remember the amazement, the joy of witnessing Mega Evolution for the first time. I remember my encounters with the legendary Pokemon of Kalos. I remember when that dark day fell over Galar. What? Really? I guess all that falls into the past disappears. These memories fade, as will I. I guess that's kind of the teaser of the next Legends game, because the Terra leak revealed that the next one's supposed to be Legends Galar. Your story is only just beginning, dear Floridance. I pray that you will live a life free from regret. What do you bet we see AZ again in the next Legends game because of that? I am truly glad to have known you. Thank you. I never spoke a word to you, dude. Registered Lucario. Yeah, there's the whole new Lucario Z. There's Mega Lucario, then there's Mega Lucario Z instead of the X and Y thing there. But yeah, terrible event from Galar that Chairman Rose tried to bring. I'm pretty sure that AZ would probably be talking about the original Darkest Day there. It feels really out of place in this letter to me. Like, I remember all these things that you know about, and there's one thing that you've probably never heard of, realistically, as this character in this situation. So that's totally just laying the groundwork for a little, thing for AZ to appear during original Darkest Day, during Legends Galar, whenever the heck that releases. Like 2026 or whatever the heck they're planning. Because they pump these games out super friggin' fast. That sounds not that fast if it's 3 years away. But you know what I mean, when they're releasing a whole bunch of other games along the way. They really gotta just get, like, different studios. Stuff like that. That's what they really need, man. If they really want to pump things out at this speed. Or just, like, pump the brakes and really take their time. Or both. That's what one would hope. Morning. Or afternoon, I guess. Like, in terms of really taking one's time and making a refined product and, like, the whole price point of entry with this game. Another thing to append to my review there is, why would I be playing this for $100 when I can buy games cheaper for that have so much more time and refinement taken to them, you know, and are actually, you know, a lot better by modern standards, I guess. It's not been a restful few days for any of us, I imagine. Not after that awful battle with the tower and AZ passing away. I still can't get over how out of left field that is. Yeah, that awful tower won't quit hanging around in my nightmares. At least they've been able to clean things up. The reopening ceremony for Centrico Plaza should be wrapping up about now, in fact. I'm glad the plaza's fixed, but is now really the time for having ceremonies? Now is exactly the time, I'd say. We've got to celebrate where we can, even if it feels hard. After 2 catastrophes in 5 years, Lumiose needs all the happy occasions it can get. I guess you have a point. Anyway, did you figure out what you're gonna do, Floridance? About what? About your wish! The one you get for reaching rank A. You should have gotten a message about it when you signed up on the ZA app. Oh yeah, that there. Anyone who attains the highest rank, rank A, will earn the right to call themselves one of Lumiose's strongest trainers and be granted a wish, as long as it is in our power to fulfill. Give me all your earthly possessions. Does that ring a bell? I suppose your next step would be to talk to Vinny about what you desire. Well, maybe I'll do that, and then maybe I'll wrap things up pretty shortly. I don't know. Well, you only have to figure out what to ask for first, right? You save the city. I bet they'd give you anything. I bet you it's one specific option. It's a Pokemon game. You know. The AZ part reminds me of a clip from Smiling Friends. I don't know where that is, where the guy just turned into sand. Just out of nowhere, just left field. Hey, all of you. Come here a second. Are you gonna run this hotel now? Ocean 38, the future of Lumiose City. Okay. Hear what Tawny has to say. Okay. Found something while I was sorting through AZ's stuff. Is that a letter? Could it be as well? I think so. Here, I'll read it out. I leave everything to Floridance. That young lad may not have ever said anything, but man, he sure left an impression on me. To Team MZ, my dear friends, if you are reading this letter, then it would seem my time has finally come to an end. I guess this would be Tawny reading it out. I leave you these instructions and final wishes. First, do with Hotel Z as you see fit. It is yours. Smoke lounge incoming. If keeping it running would place a burden on your young lives, you may sell it. I ask only that you continue to look after Floette and all those who live in Lumiose City. Aren't I here on, like, vacation? I guess to the others here. I've been blessed to see the people of the city grow closer to all their new Pokemon neighbors. Again, is it necessarily a great thing that the wild zones are being put here and we're living together? Because the whole system seems pretty awful, but... And as you young ones once said, a joining of X and Y axes that were never expected to meet. May you all bring about a true evolution in the relationship between Pokemon and humankind. I have lived so very, very long and seen so many go before me. But thanks to you all, I know I will now go to meet my own ending with a smile on my face. I thank you from the bottom of this old heart. Signed, AZ. Oh, AZ. When we left him on the roof, the day the tower went berserk, he must have already been prepared for his end. Yeah, I think so. So, what will we do about the hotel? We probably don't need to worry about turning it into a thriving business, right? I mean, I'm sure you're paying, like, power, property tax. Is there a mortgage on this place? You know, like, as he did tell us that he saw it more as his own final residence than anything. He did, yes, but keeping a building like this in good repair won't be cheap. Should we ask Vinny for help? I bet Quasartico would lend a hand. I wouldn't want to use our ZA Royale wish on this. I don't think it's what we worked so hard for. Do we just get one wish? Can it be a wish with the word "and" in it multiple times? Even just once would go a long way. Vinny, what's up? You were promised one wish to be granted if you achieved rank A. It's time we took care of that. Wait, so I guess each of us would get a wish, right? Please join us on the south side of Centrico Plaza. I wish for infinite wishes! Understood. See you at Centrico Plaza. We'll be waiting for you. You all heard that, right? It's time to go meet Vinny. Guess you've got until you reach Centrico Plaza to figure out what you want to ask for. I won't have any choice. It's a Pokemon game, man. I suspect everyone's quite curious to see what our 2 A-ranked trainers will request. That's a good thing you didn't achieve rank A. I already know what you would wish for, if so. A subscription to Canary's OnlyFans. You're probably right, but there's no point getting nervous about it. Let's head to Centrico Plaza. So thank goodness you didn't get rank A. My dear Team MZ, why are you here? We simply had to find out what both of you A-ranked trainers would wish for. The bottom line is this. I would love nothing more than the opportunity to battle all of you again. Why not just ask us to battle like trainers normally do? Trainers ask? I thought they just lock eyes and then it's happening. This game has pretty much established that gameplay-wise, too. I'm so glad you asked. My dream is to help every resident of Lumiose become the best trainer they can be. And my dream is to make the citizens of Lumiose strong so we can get rid of wild zones. Oh dear, I never would have expected to share a dream with someone like you. Nevertheless, I certainly would not object if you felt inclined to ask on my behalf for a tournament that is open to every trainer in Lumiose. I mean, you could technically host that yourself, just without even needing to make a wish, but as for the name, how about something like Le Sublime Ultra Tournoi de Yacinthe? At that point, would you even call it a tournament? Wouldn't you just call it the ZA Royale? Well, whatever, Vinny's waiting. Let's go. That's open to the whole city. Go talk to Vinny and the others in Centrico Plaza. Once I reach the top, I shall turn Lumiose City into Yacinthe City. True strength means training your heart to recognize the right time to use your power. Okay, dude. Centrico Plaza. Sure, let's see about this wish and wrap things up. So there is still more game. So I'll probably still call the last part finale part because it clearly seemed like a final boss, but like, you know, there's more stuff to go here. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today, children. First of all, I offer my most sincere apologies to Team MZ regarding the Prism Tower affair. It should have been up to Quasartico Inc. to resolve the situation, yet it fell to you to rescue Lumiose's residents, human and Pokemon alike. We owe you all a great debt. Really, it wasn't that much. And the Prism Tower thing was no one's fault. It's not like you could have just told the whole city something was up. It would have caused a panic. You know, tell everyone in advance and evacuate them. Probably could have saved a bunch of lives, but what do I know? Look at that building back there. Like, I know that it's always flat with all the windows, but look at that flat door and the whole frame around the door. How it's just a flat texture, man. God, again, I don't think I can ever be convinced otherwise that this game is an embarrassment. Again, I'm not gonna be one of those people that, you know, sits here and says, you know, it's nothing but bad. Again, there's parts of this game that I liked. But man, this game is an embarrassment and a big middle finger to the fans that buy this expecting a quality product, you know? Are the windows flat in Banjo-Kazooie? I assume they would be, considering N64, but, it just doesn't seem that AZ's attempt to protect Lumiose went so wrong. But we managed to right it, with the help of all those tough trainers Floridance had battled. Anyway, I think we would have tried to help out no matter what. We love Lumiose, after all. It does my heart good to hear that you all feel this way. With that said, Vinny? Yes, ma'am. As you know, reaching rank A in the ZA Royale earns you the right to have one wish granted. Your clothes. Take them off. As long as that wish is within the capacity of Quasartico Inc. to grant, of course. What about the person you've been searching for, Tani? You could get help looking for them. That's a personal thing, I guess. I can just find them myself. A wish this big feels like it should go towards something that'd help everyone. Oh, I know. We could combine your two wishes. that again is something really cool. What if we turn in both our wishes for one ultra prize? Does that get us something cool behind the counter? They're the ones with the wishes, you know. In that case, what do you say, Floridance? I want us all to battle Pokemon together. I want us to live in harmony with Pokemon. No, this is already such a bad idea of a system. I want more Pokemon to live in Lumiose. That's such a bad idea. And what the heck is this? What does this even mean? I want us all to battle Pokemon together. Like us all, like everyone in the city? What does it mean? I want us all to battle Pokemon together. And that seems like one promising way to make the city as joyful as it can be. Isn't this literally just wishing for the ZA Royale, though? It seems that the others sure seemed hyped about the idea. Also, Yomi Sakuraba raiding with a party of 8 here. You caught us after having just beaten Pokemon Legends ZA here. And now we're doing the thing where we're having our wish granted to drop a nuke on the city. Or whatever the heck our wish is going to be. Our wish was apparently to have everyone battle Pokemon together. Ooh, what an amazing wish to be granted. So I just beat this quite literally flat of a game here, if you look at literally any wall. And now we're seeing what happens now that the game is beaten and all that. So that's what's going on here. But welcome on in, Yomi Sakuraba. How was the stream? What were you just streaming, if you don't mind me asking? Welcome on in, everybody, from Yomi Sakuraba stream. Again, we're just, seeing what happens now that the game is beaten and we're doing stuff here. But yeah, the stream here has been pretty good. I'm making progress on a decent few things. The one kind of downside of this stream is I've been streaming multiple things this stream. I started this stream out by playing Metal Gear Solid Delta, so like the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 that came out a few months ago, because they semi-recently added a multiplayer mode, and I wanted to see what the multiplayer mode was like. Let's see what this PvP mode is like. So, I was a little bit tardy to the party. It came out like a month ago, but I finally got the chance to hop in. I was like, yeah, let's go through all these tutorials. I did all the tutorials for the multiplayer mode, and I couldn't play the multiplayer mode because it couldn't matchmake with a single other person. So that's kind of the one downside of this stream so far, is the thing that I explicitly started the stream with, the multiplayer mode of Metal Gear Solid Delta. Nobody's playing it! So I literally had nobody to play it with. So then we just switched and started doing other things. So, yeah. So that was kind of how this stream started. Wrapping up some Final Fantasy X Remastered and the end bosses. Time just to wind down, thought we'd stop by. Fair enough there. One of these days I want to properly play through Final Fantasy X. I have like 4 or something hours in it. And then I never really continued with it there. Dang, I'd be interested to check out the mode. The OG Metal Gear Solid 3 had amazing multiplayer on the PS2. It actually had multiplayer? Really? I didn't realize that it had that. The multiplayer mode that they added in this one is called Fox Hunt, apparently. And from what I understood by not playing it, but by doing the tutorials, you act in duos with another player, and you either, like, go get the objective before the other players and try to not be seen by guards and stuff, or you recover an item and bring it back to a certain location before the other players, and you can shoot other players and figure out where they're at. You can put on camouflage to try and hide from the other players and stuff like that and have them not be able to detect your presence. Seems kind of interesting, but maybe I'll never know. I don't have any people that I can matchmake with. Maybe I'll try another day and just see if anyone's on, but I guess I just didn't really get to showcase that mode through no fault of my own. So yes, there's some of my most fond Metal Gear Solid 3 memories are from the online. You should look it up sometime. I will then. I would have had no idea. And I know that the amount of PS2 games that would have had online play would have been rather limited. I would imagine, at least. Like, the PS2 was my very first console. Like, I started playing on PC before that point. But then the PS2 was my first ever home console. I never found out that you could do stuff online with that thing until, like, way later. Probably, like, a decade later. Like, what? You could connect your PS2 to the internet? It's not something I ever did. Anyway, let's see what the heck a wish we're having granted here. You see that the others sure seem hyped about that idea? Let's have everyone battle together. That's a great use of a wish. I fully support more Pokemon battles. Should we ask for the ZA Royale to continue then? Bruh, if you have a wish that could be granted by, like, the head honcho organization in the city of anything in their power, and your wish is this thing that's going on, have it continue. You don't have to wish for that. You would think that it would already be going on. Unless they made an announcement, we're closing this. We decide that it's not profitable to be doing this. It's not a great idea. We're closing it down. Then, sure, your wish could be wish for it to continue going on. But by default, you would assume that it's already going on. Like, why would you wish for... My god. Let's hope that Tawny never gets access to, like, a genie's lantern or something like that. I wish for the ZA Royale to go on. I wish for this meal at my favorite restaurant to stay the same that it currently wish. I wish for my jacket to remain this color. My god, this plot is so stupid, man. I see. What an interesting turn of events. What? Is there a problem? No. Rather, AZ had approached us as well to ask if the ZA Royale could be continued even after its original purpose had been served. Oh, maybe it is a thing where it was supposed to end. Wait, I know that it was like someone reaches rank A, they get a wish granted. And did they ever say that like the ZA Royale would end after that? That's just to determine who gets their wish granted at rank A? At which case, both of us reaching rank A shouldn't have been possible. If that was the plan, then the moment one of us reached rank A, I should have just been like, yep, it's over, it's done, no more ZA Royale. And that clearly wasn't the case, and it still kept on going for another person to reach rank A. So, what the hell are the rules of this game? Perhaps he, better than any other, understood the value of engaging in Pokemon battles after such a long life spent watching others. Plot doesn't make sense, man. Doesn't make any sense. Main mission 38, the future of Lumiose City. Ah, what a excellent use of the wish, huh? If you will give me but a moment. Attention, ZA Royal Operations Team. This is your green light to push the update to the app as discussed. They had a whole update at the ready that would have only been pushed if we wished for the ZA Royale to continue. What? This game, man. I don't get it. Your ZA Royale app has been updated. Okay. As you'll see when you next check your app. You should now be registered to take part in the Infinite ZA Royale. The Infinite ZA Royale, so that you can keep playing the game, I guess, is the purpose of that. Earn yourself a challenger's ticket and show it to the receptionist at Quasartico Inc. for a chance to battle in a reward match. If you win the match, amazing prizes will be yours to keep. After each reward match, your ticket points will reset to 0. I'll inform the other ZA Royale participants about the update and our plans for this competition. Let me see. I suppose we might as well begin at once. We will kick it off this very night. You work fast, as always, Vinny. So, AZ wished for this to happen too. Why? I wonder if there really are things that you can only understand through Pokemon battles. We'll find out what those things are through the ZA Royale. Hope you're all ready. Starting now, we're rivals. I thought we sort of softly were before. It seems a marvelous future awaits us. And we're not going to delve into any plot about, like, your whole mismanagement of the city. That's just going to be completely abandoned. As much as we work to improve the city itself, its people and Pokemon are what truly matter most. I hope the competition sparked by the ZA Royale will continue breathing new life into Lumiose City. Alright, let's do whatever we need to prepare. The Infinite ZA Royale awaits. I am not engaging with that. I think I'm good. And mission 39. Unless this is actually a main mission that I'm expected to do start to finish or something. But like... Well, Pokemon level 55 are above the highest level wild zone in all Lumiose City. So that's what happens to the tower. I see. There's some new research you can do for me. Check the list. Wild Lucario's here. You seem small. He's just a little baby. There's a bunch of Malamars over there. There's Alpha Drampa. Oh, that'd be cool for a Mega Drampa. Drampa is one of my favorite, like, Pokedex entries for a Pokemon. Just because it's like, if it has befriended a child and it finds out that child is being bullied, it'll go to the bully's house and burn it down. It'd be fun to make some burning jokes if I had a Mega Drampa. I don't know. I kind of like my team here. But my team might also get some rearranging in some different ways for, that. Oh, you're... Oh, Rose Raid. I thought the white part was part of the background there. Anyway. Team might undergo some changes for the playthrough of the DLC stuff. That might end up happening. Maybe I'll catch a Mega Drampa really quickly for fun. Probably wouldn't use you, but, like... It's an Alpha Drampa. And it's the Pokemon that burns down children's houses. So, like, I can't not. It can fly? They fly now. Alright, nom nom. Again. I want you to not be coming over here and messing me up, please. This is what I would kind of like. Okay, I was spamming big breaking swipe and it wasn't quite charged up there. Oh, you're frozen here. That's... didn't last long. Okay, you need to chill out. Oh my god! This is a little bit of difficulty here, isn't it? Open the menu, please. It might be time to use one of these. That might just be time for. Dang it, no Moonblast for me. Let's try this quick. Oh my god. No! Stay away from me. Please. Go, go, go. I don't know. Iron Tail. Oh my god. Here. Maybe Swords Dance. Maybe I'll Mega Evolve you. That's what I might just do. What might be a cool Pokeball for you? Maybe a Luxury Ball, maybe a Dusk Ball or something like that. I think that kind of goes with the color scheme of your Mega. I don't remember. Here, I can do one right now, and then I'll do one after I actually take you out. Yeah, no. If I can actually successfully get you. Who knows, man. Okay, then, like... Let's see if it works. Damn. Well, this has been a big waste of time. I don't know. Boop. I guess. But of course I got the Alpha Simisage. Because of course I would. Man. But not the one I actually wanted. Here, whatever. Just toss a regular Pokeball, I guess, there. Alright. Well, sucks to suck, I guess. We have a whole bunch of wreckage and stuff around here. Well. Yeah, there was that. There be that. Alright, well, I guess that's Pokemon Legends ZA for now. There might be a little bit of main game stuff that I do, but whoops, I hit that with my finger by accident. That damn Simisage. Dang him, man. Might do a little bit of main game stuff before the DLC. Probably a pretty good chance of that. I'll have to look up how important this next main story quest is. Or if it's just the main story quest you now have until the end of time. Or something like that. Just to be able to still have gameplay. Because it's the Infinite ZA Royale. So maybe it'll always be marked as my main mission. I'll have to look into it. I know that they released some events since this game came out that required you to have beaten the game before you could do them. So there was like a Diancie event. And I think they recently released a Mewtwo event one as well, or something like that, where you go into Lysander Labs and get a Mewtwo. Something like that. So, you know, maybe I'll ham that out at some point since it was, you know, new update content that came up before the DLC. So, maybe I'll end up doing that. Yeah, so we'll see if that last main mission is important. And then those two events. Boop. I think that they gave it, like, some sort of a... They gave the Mewtwo one, like, some sort of a name that it stood out to me, and I forget what it was. Hold on. Pokemon Legends ZA Mewtwo event. Or something like that. Let's see here. Get Mewtwo and Mewtwo Night. Get the legendary Pokemon Mewtwo. I think this is why it stood out to me. It's because it was also called, like, Get Mewtwo. Oh, that's what it was. That was the thing that had stood out. So that when people search up Project M, this is what comes up instead of the Melee mod. But there's also, like, the whole caption on these pages where it's like, get the legendary Pokemon Mewtwo. Remember when they released that event from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that was literally called Get Mew and Mewtwo? Maybe now if you search up Get Mewtwo, it'll come up with this instead of the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet one is another thing. But yeah, it is literally called Project M, isn't it? Like Control F, Project M. That's what it was. Pokemon Legends ZA, if I just go Project M. Project M side mission. So it's literally a request that's called Project M. So, Yeah, how to start Project M mission and catch a Mewtwo. All of that. So, and then you get like Mewtwo Night X and Y and stuff like that. That is a little funny, admittedly. So who knows, maybe Nintendo wants to take over the search results for when people search up Project M. Is maybe the case there. The redevelopment plan should never have closed the city symbol. Yeah, so what the heck is the deal still with the redevelopment plan going into actually kind of wreaking havoc in the city? Guess we're never going to be doing anything about that plot point. Anyway, that's Pokemon Legends ZA for now. Obviously, more of this stuff coming along with those events, and then the DLC on, like, Wednesday. I guess I have to purchase the DLC. I'll have spent $140 before tax on this game. That's not exactly something to be proud of, per se. Blame the mayor of Lumiose, I guess so. Oh. I didn't notice your shadow before. First I thought it was a render distance thing, but I think I just didn't notice it before was all. Alright, well, it is 12:40. Realistically, I could keep going and do more late night chilling. But, all in all, across the 3 games that I did of Metal Gear Solid Delta, SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide, and then this game for this long session, I've been streaming for almost 7 hours. 6 hours, 44 minutes, and 15 seconds is what I'm at right now. So I've been sitting here streaming for a while. And I wouldn't mind a break, for 1. And 2, I was mentioning earlier this stream about how I kind of got to catch up on doing a little bit of work in post on some of these parts. Like Metroid Prime 4 that still doesn't have anything queued up for tomorrow and missed out on its upload today. You know, not counting the fact that it's technically Sunday because it's after midnight, but you know what I mean there. So, you know, I'll probably still be up for a little while, but I do have some editing stuff to be working on here. Get caught up, because I am not going to have too much time during the week. You know, I still do my whole system of, you know, making a bunch of thumbnails and stuff like that in the morning. Maybe I can do that for this stream. But for the newly released things that I've been doing, like Metroid Prime 4 and Elden Ring Night Rain, I still don't have a whole bunch of stuff at the ready with them because they just came out. So I gotta get kind of on top of that. At least with this game, I have the whole last stream that I did all set up with like daily uploads for the next week as of earlier today when I was working on that. So I gotta get kind of caught up on some of this stuff tonight. Wouldn't mind taking a break, and then I'll go to sleep. I'm getting kind of tired of talking after 7 hours here. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up here tonight, is the thing. But hey, we made some good progress. We cleared the Metal Gear stuff that I had to do. Got that off the to-do list. Even though I technically didn't do it, but that was through no fault of my own. So I'm going to count it as cleared. Finished the SpongeBob game. And then we beat Pokemon Legends ZA at least. It's not finished. This playthrough still has lots to go. But it's beaten. And that is a major milestone along the way here. And to think, I actually ended up beating this game before the DLC came out. It was a close call. If I didn't have time this weekend to be doing it, it wouldn't have happened. There was no shot. Oh my god, the frame rate of the shadow moving there. Because if I just, like, streamed during the week before the Wednesday, Tuesday would have been the one time that I would have had enough time to do it. And I would not have had enough hours on a Tuesday to put in and clear everything that I did here. So, this was a great thing to wrap up on the weekend. Got that Karambit 3D printed. The stream worked out pretty good. This was a good little cleanup of different things that I kind of had to do around here. I appreciate everybody that tuned into another stream of Pokemon Legends ZA. I really wanted to go ham on some Metroid Prime 4 this weekend, but I'll probably do that tomorrow. Probably do a decent bit of Metroid Prime 4 tomorrow, since I still want to play that as, like, the new release there. So, yeah, maybe expect some of that tomorrow. For now, I'm heading out of here. I gotta do some editing. Maybe grab a nice glass of juice or something here. Take it easy, chill out, and then, yeah, go pass out. Until next time, take care, and see ya.